Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Sarah, and our practice today is going to be the sun salutations. So the sun salutation is traditionally the warm-up that you would find in the Ashtanga yoga practice. The idea of the sun salutation is a variety of movements linked together with breath. So it allows the practitioner to establish their breathing practice while warming up the body, not only from the breath, but also, of course, through the movements. It also can help to bring some endurance into your practice, right? So as you know, some practices of yoga can be very passive, very relaxing, whereas the sun salutation can bring a bit of dynamic into your practice. The other great thing about the sun salutation is they are somewhat of a standalone practice. So should you not have time for a full practice, you could do a series of sun salutations, whether it be 3 or 5 or 108. The possibilities are endless. So today I'm going to show you 4 variations, starting with a half sun salutation, moving into sun salutation A, Surya Namaskara A, Surya Namaskara B, and then a variation of Surya Namaskara B. So let's begin by standing up at the top of our mat with our feet hip width apart, and your hips are narrower than you think. So your big toes are in line with the inner hip bone, not the outer hip. The feet are planted down into the floor, but I want you to lift your toes up. So I want you to lift your toes up off of the floor, and then I want you to see if you can spread your toes like your fingers, pressing your pinky toe down into the floor, then your big toe. And then allow the other 3 toes to fan out. Nice, and now you might observe if you feel that your hip bones are spiraling outwards. Can you get a sensation that you're slightly spinning your hip bones in, almost like there's an internal rotation through your thighs and a drawing and lifting up? So mountain pose, Tadasana, is a strong posture. If someone was to come and push you, you should not fall over. You're stable, you're strong, right? So our hands are at our sides, and if you think about your pinky finger, if you had seams on your pants, your pinky finger would line up with the seams on your pants. The crown of your head is lifting up towards the sky as though there was a string drawing the top of your head up. And then I like to imagine a long dragon's tail coming from my tailbone, not anchoring towards my heel, but extending towards the back of our mat. And we'll bring our hands together at heart center here, closing down the eyes to establish your breathing. Now with your eyes closed, as you find your breath, notice that your body may be moving slightly forward and back. Maybe you're moving to the left or the right. Just slight movement. And this movement could be so small that it wouldn't even be seen with the eye, but yet internally it is felt. And your shoulders are relaxed. You're zipping up through the lower belly as that navel pulls in towards the spine and the pelvic floor lifts up. The pelvic floor lock is called Mula Bandha. The abdominal lock is Uddiyana Bandha, which is about 2 fingers below the navel. At your feet, we have Pada Bandha, our foot lock, so the arch of the foot, and then Hasta Bandha is at our hands, which is the palm of the hand. Our tongue is resting at the roof of the mouth, creating an ocean-like sound, and that breath is known as Ujjayi breathing. Ideally, our sun salutation is 1 breath per movement. However, there is times where you will find you need a couple of breaths or there's a pause in the breath as you transition. The other point to keep in mind is the pattern of the breath. So generally, anytime our body is extended or open, we are inhaling. And anytime the body is folded or contracting, you're exhaling. So let's begin with a half sun salutation. Sweeping your arms down. Inhale, reach them up towards the sky. Exhale, let your hips move back. Your heart goes forward as you fold, head below the heart. Inhale, hands to the floor, the shins, spinal extension. Your gaze is ahead, your chin and your forehead are lined up. Exhale, fold, soften over the legs. Root down into the feet as you rise up with the arms, palms touch, and exhale, hands slide down to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up above the head, looking up. Exhale, hips back, hearts forward, fold, swan dive, head below the heart. Hands to the floor or the shins, spinal extension, straighten up the spine. Exhale to fold, and then rooting into those feet, rising up, inhale, palms touch, and exhale, hands to heart center. Turning to the side here, inhale, lift your arms up. As you exhale it, so you're diving forward, floating down. Now here in our fold, our brain is flooded with oxygen, which is a really great tool for stress reduction. Hands are on the shins or the floor, and check that you don't buckle your knees back. So here you can see that I hyperextend my knees when I buckle my knees back. So there's a slight bend in the knee, right? We want to find that little pocket behind the knee. So we exhale, we fold. Now the goal is not to touch your toes. You'll get there eventually, but maybe not the first few months that you're practicing yoga. And then exhale, hands at the heart. Now moving into Surya Namaskara A. We inhale, sweep our arms up above our head, and then exhale, hips back, hearts forward. We fold, head below the heart. Inhale, spinal extension, and then exhale, hands come to the floor, and we step one foot back, then the other into plank. Here, we'll drop the knees on our in-breath, and then on our exhale, we want to shift the body forward. Hug the elbows nice and tight into our sides and lower to the floor. So shoelace side of the foot goes flat, hands move just slightly ahead to press up into cobra. Exhale, lower. Slide the hands back slightly, fold the toes under, press into the knees, lift the navel up off of the floor. Press up, push your hips back, and lift your hips up, taking a tiny step in with your feet. This is downward dog. In our downward dog, we might find that the knees need to be bent in order to create space in the hamstrings, right? We don't have to straighten up the knees, and if you have your feet locked in, this is not where we want to go. We also don't want to be here, right? So we want to have a comfortable place between our feet and our hands. Typically, what that looks like, if you bring yourself back into plank pose, from your plank, if you pike your hips, so send your body back, creating a triangle shape with your body. Now look at your toes. Where your big toe is, if you step your heel forward, bend your knees, look at your hands, then push your hips back. Think of a puppy, you want to lift your tail, and your knees are going to be bent. If it's available, root through your heels like you're pressing your heels down into I envision like a doorstop or a wedge, and the heels don't have to touch the floor. Make sure you're trying to spread your energy in your hands to the pads of the fingers and not just pressing into the heel of the hand, because that can hurt the wrists over time. We want our shoulders to be down our back, not up by our ears. And that was a long hold, so let's walk our feet to the top of the mat. Pressing down into the feet, arms reach out and up, palms touch, and hands to heart center. Now, some people like to have the big toes together. Others want their feet hip width apart. It's yogi's choice, so your choice. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, swan dive forward, head below the heart. Hands to the floor of the shins, spinal extension. Exhale, hands to the mat, one foot back, then the other. You're in plank. Inhale, drop your knees, and then exhale, shift your body forward, lower. Inhale, slide your hands slightly forward, lift your heart. Cobra, exhale, lower. Slide your hands back as you inhale, fold your toes under, hug those elbows back in tight. Exhale, push up. Inhale, lift your hips, and walk your feet in that slight step forward. We hold downward dog for 5 deep breaths. So downward dog is our resting pose in the sun salutation. Child's pose is your alternative to downward dog should you need to rest at any time, especially when you're deciding to do those 108 sun salutations. You might find yourself in child's pose often. So that's about 5 breaths. We'll look forward, step the feet to the top of the mat, hands come to the floor of the shins, inhale, spinal extension, exhale, fold forward, head below the heart. Rooting down into the feet, arms reach up, palms touch, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Moving into Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. Traditionally, in the Ashtanga practice, sitting into our heels, arms up by our ears. Exhale, swan dive forward, head below the heart. Inhale, hands to the floor of the shins, spinal extension. Exhale, hands to the mat, bend the knees, step or hop back. Plank pose. Knees can drop for cobra or stay lifted as you shift forward, hug those elbows in, come into a hover, push your hips forward, lift your heart, up dog. Curling the toes under, zip up from the lower belly, downward dog. Right foot steps between the hands, left heel plants. First one we'll do modified actually, so dropping the left knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up above the head. Palms touch. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Left knee lifts up. Inhale, right foot back. Knees can be lifted or dropped. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heart lifts. Cobra or up dog. The difference of up dog to cobra is the shins, knees, thighs are lifted in up dog. Turning the toes under, pike the hips, downward dog. Inhaling the left foot between the mat, hands rather, and drop the right knee to the floor. Inhale, arms reach up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the mat. Folding the right toes under, lift the right knee up, step the left foot back. You're in plank. Knees are dropped or lifted. Lower to a hover. Inhale, up dog, or all the way down for cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Here we rest in the downward dog. 5 deep breaths. Now check that you can hollow out the lower belly and again, not drop your bottom rib. So sometimes I do get in the bad habit of dropping my bottom rib. And so we want to tuck those bottom ribs up, making the back more of a slope than a curve. Enjoying your breath. One more. Looking past your hands so your gaze goes forward. Bend your knees, step, walk, or hop the feet to your hands. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, fold. Sitting into an invisible chair, arms move up by the ears, and then we straighten the legs and hands come to the heart. Good. Bending your knees. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, swan dive forward, head below the heart. Hands to the floor of the shins. Bending your knees, step or hop back. Chaturanga, lower. Inhale, sliding forward, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot between the hands. So full variation is Virabhadrasana 1. Arms reach up, palms touch. Exhale, hands come down. Spin around on the ball of your left foot, right foot steps back. Shift forward, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot steps between your hands, right heel plants. Root into those feet to rise up. Exhale, hands come down. And step back. Shift forward, lower. Inhale, cobra up dog. And exhale, downward dog. Five deep breaths here. Your next inhale will take you to the front of the mat with either a hop or a jump or a walk. Inhale, exhale, fold. Bending your knees, sitting into your heels. Take your arms up by your ears, straightening the legs, and hands to the heart. Very well. So now we'll move into the third, or I guess fourth variation of a sun salutation. And this is a variation of Sun B, a little bit more active. So really, really beneficial to get the heartbeat going, building your endurance. All right, so hands at the heart here. We're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up above the head, look up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hips back, hearts forward, fold. Inhale, hands to the floor of the shins, spinal extension. Exhale, hands to the mat. This time, right foot steps back into a lunge, left foot steps back. Inhale to plank, exhale to lower. Inhale to cobra or up dog, flipping the toes, exhale to downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward, and then exhale the left foot forward and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch, and exhale, fold forward, head below the heart. Inhale, hands to the floor of the shins, spinal extension. Exhale, hands to the mat, and the left foot steps back. Inhale, the right foot steps back. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Flipping the toes, exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward, followed by the right foot. Exhale, lower, fold. And inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. So that would be one round. Moving with a little bit stronger intensity, bend the knees. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to the floor of the shins, spinal extension. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot back. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left foot back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot between the hands. Root the left heel, rise up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left foot steps up to meet the right foot. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold. Bending your knees. Inhale, sweep your arms up by your ears. And then straightening the legs. Exhale, hands to heart. Other side, bending the knees. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to the shins or the floor, and exhale to the mat. Left foot steps back. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Right foot back. Inhale. Exhale, hover. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel plants. Rise up, push into that back leg. Exhale, hands on either side of the left foot. Step the right foot to meet the left. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, fold. Bending those knees, sitting in that invisible chair. Arms up by the ears, chair pose. Straightening the legs. And then exhale, hands come to the heart. Very good. Inhale. Let's reach our arms up to the sky. And exhale, fold forward. Hands to the mat. Step one foot back, then the other. You're in plank. Now drop your knees and sit your hips to your heels. So we're going to move through one more salutation. This one being the Tibetan sun salutation. And for me, when I was taught this Tibetan sun salutation, it was more of a meditation in motion than the physical endurance of warming up the body as the traditional Surya Namaskaras were taught to me when I began my yoga practice with Ashtanga. So the Tibetan salutation is a lot slower and a lot more grounding. So we're going to finish with a couple rounds of that. This is a great one at bedtime. If you're just, maybe you've worked out at the bed just before bed, or you went on a big long walk, or you've been at your desk doing work and you need to settle. This is a good one to do. And also know there's no right or wrong. If you don't get the patterning exactly right, just keep going. Just go with the flow. All right, so our hands are going to come to our heart. Our spine is tall. And we're just bringing in that sense of ease, grounding, connection. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up above the head, looking up. Exhale, hands come to the floor, hips come to the heels, and we bow, child's pose. We inhale, roll forward, drop the belly, lift the heart, cat pose or cow pose, sometimes this is called. Fold your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward dog pose, or sometimes this is also called mountain. Inhale, coming forward onto your knees, arms reach up towards the sky, palms come together, and then the shoelace side of my foot flatten on your mat, and exhale, hands come to the heart. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your arms up, looking up. Exhale, bow forward, child's pose, forehead touches the earth. Inhale, roll your body forward, dropping the belly, lifting the heart. Folding the toes under, exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward dog or mountain. Inhale, come to your knees, lift your arms up towards the sky, and then here, flipping your feet, shoelace side of your feet come flat, hands come to the heart, sitting your hips to your heels. Moving through this one more time. Noticing how your energy went from high to grounding, deepening. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the heart. Folding the toes under, exhale, downward dog. Inhale, rocking forward on the toes, lifting your arms to the sky. And then shoelace side of the feet come flat to the floor as you sit your hips to your heels and your hands are at your heart. And taking a moment to pause, acknowledge, observe all that you're feeling mentally, physically, emotionally. And then swinging your legs out to the side, finding your way down onto your back. And drawing your knees in towards your body. So the story of the sun salutation is Lord Surya rides in the sky in a chariot pulled by horses. And Hanuman, who is the monkey, he wants to ride in the chariot with Surya. Surya says that you must first learn the scriptures and be a wise and learned monkey before he can ride in the chariot with the king. And so Hanuman walks along the heavens with Surya, Lord Surya, and he's bowing and folding as one would in front of a king as he moves through the sky. So stretching your left leg out and hug your right knee in towards your chest. So as many ancient traditions have stories and legends, as does the practice of yoga. So we can use our sun salutations to bring energy, joy, vibrancy, just as the sun brings into our life. With your left hand on your right knee, just take your right knee across your body. Doing a little floor twist here. And bring your knees to center. And wrapping your hands around your left knee, stretch your right leg out. Take your left arm out to shoulder height and gently guide your left knee across to the right. And the sun salutation is also a great way to move energy. Right, so just as the Tibetan sun salutation could help you feel more restful, have a restful sleep if you need to move some energy out, the sun salutation, traditionally done at sunrise, greeting the sun with the sun salutation, is a way to build your energy for the day, build your heat, build your fire. Any time of day, of course, is great. Coming back to center, pull both knees in towards your chest. And then extending your legs out to either corner of your mat. And always completing, even if you've only done 3 sun salutations. Shavasana is what brings us on our mat. Even though we may think it's all the postures that we're practicing, what really it's the moving inward, the moving into stillness that brings us more at home in our body and at home in our spirit. And it's the essence of our yoga practice. So as you either remain sitting for as long as you need, roll back up and do another 108 sun salutations, or bring your hands together at your heart, honoring the divine light that shines within you. I salute that light, and I thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me. Namaste.